Ama grandma, don't demand, I don't demand, don't demand, I don't demand. No more, yeah, no more, yeah. No, no, way, don't anymore. Don't anymore, about them, go. Yalon them on about them, go. Yalon them on about them, go. Ekunanga, yalon. Ewa, hana, ewa, Yakuna, longo miwa, ena wega londe mima, yalonde manga wade ipobo, yalonde manga wade ipobo, anaelo, 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 ewala, anaewa, ewala, anaewa, londe manu namuye, londe manu namuye. Anaelo, elao, yenawe, longo miwa, kununa miwe, londe mimae, yadem panga bade ibobo. Anakwetumo, 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 anakwetumo. Anae, adopanywe, anae, adopanywe, anango, adopanyo. Malogo na wasanyo, malogo na wasanyo. Sambelanga juwa ba walongo, sambelanga juwa ba walongo. Enganwa kwale kamombo kabalu ne kubo. Ewa ana ewa lone manu namuye, ana ewa lone manu namuye, lone manu namuye. Danga, onganwa, dawana dualenga bemwe, dualukuna boge, nuderubo. Davalie dulinyangela, dieka, na pebo agelo demo, dava pwejali ba mwalo, gayele li bateo, gayele li ba wolomo, dalenjarela duwa mwepri. Young way, the mongo pray, young at the bad, the government, get a day, Yamalo, Bobale. Bobale, Bobale, where I got your table. Bobale, where I got your table. Yamayo, Gayamo, Babalama, Malone, Bobale, younger. Yammer, Bale, younger. Yammer Papa Valley, Redanga, Delu Molebo, that young about my Yamodia, dead Yaka Yabalu away, Yano above Valley, Yano above Valley, young Peraga, Yedebo. Ewa, and I was on the one. Ewa, ana ewa, lone manu namuye. Engana, ana ewa, ana ewa, ana ewa, ana ewa, ana ewa.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome. Welcome. Good evening to all our viewers and listeners across the globe. This is Afonso Zin, so of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. Today is Monday. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners. Mr. Gay, Mr. Tali is in the house, of course. Man, Ali Usamba. Yes, yeah, Maddie, thank you for joining us. Aloysius David, good evening and welcome to the show. Whereas Pitman Kuku Akwe, Mr. Akwe, thank you so much for being here. The politics of Liberia are shifting, and it's looked like Bond County, and that's what we're doing here this evening. We're taking it there, becoming the new front line for the political process in Liberia. We're here to dissect and close your words, your conversation, your view. Mr. Davis, man, long time, my man, buddy. How you doing? Well, you ceasefire in the talking business, right? Retirement? How will you want to retire this time? Mr. Dotai, welcome. Sabat Sifos, I thank you so much for being here. This is the Diaspora Informative News outlet, Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV, where discussions in real time always see it take place here. So we want to welcome all our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you so much for sharing your Monday, your morning, evening, afternoon, depending on your location, for being here. This is what we sign off to do. Here comes Mr. Gray. Thank you so much for being here. We will not get tired. We will not relent, and we will try to do the best we can to always keep the news fair, balanced, and proportional. Even though it might not suit your political taste, that we know, and because of the politics in the country itself, the country is polarized, and everybody trying to get the piece of the pie, and that is the executive mansion, where major political actors or parties are now fighting for state power. Man, a lot is unfolding. Hopefully, the analysts are going to be here. And even if they are not here, they are human beings that get tired. These guys are volunteering. But I strongly believe you will also participate, because we intend not to leave no one behind in the national conversations of Liberia, because we all are. Do not allow anybody to tell you that you're not a stakeholder. Do not even allow that. You are a stakeholder. You are. Without you, the society is inconclusive. Just put it that way. Trust me. You are a stakeholder. Don't let anybody tell you, no. Your vote counts. Your voice, your comments, your tweet, your disagreement, and you're analyzing things critically count. Don't mind these people who are so much politically driven, and so nothing else seems to be the case here. Mr. Taylor, to welcome. Vani Kabat, thank you so much for being here. Don't marry, not avenge it. I would just say, what I've just said, D. Let me just make life easier for myself. Thank you so much. Welcome to the show. I'm Afonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. Let's have this quick commercial, and we will be right back.
Welcome to Uncle Musa Grocery, 6523 Woodland Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I'm a customer of Uncle Musa. I came here to get some things from grocery. Their things are so nice. They never get expired. They are the best quality. They have the best price ever anyone can get. They have so many things like cream, like meat, a lot of kind of meat. We have so many kind, and it's the best grocery store I've ever seen here. We are located at 65th and Woodland. If you want, I really appreciate you guys to come over to come and patronize me, because they sell the best quality.
Uncle Musa's Groceries on Woodland Avenue, 65.
Please help us to hit the share button to invite someone. Angie, to be able to call you, Mr. Coley, and of course, Mark Toba. Welcome to the show. This is the Liberia Public Radio. Please just hit the share button. Sometimes it makes it very difficult for us to do that. You're a producer, you're a host, and everything at the same time. But let's listen to this brief commercial.
Way to pay people extra to cut the potato grains for customers to save them extra time. We have deeper. We have fufu. We have the refrigeration center. Then we also have cosmetics. This is the place to come in Philadelphia. You come to fill it, you don't reach to Uncle Musa's groceries, you have not made your trip complete. Welcome, and we look forward to seeing you sponsoring our business. Thank you.
This is Uncle Musa's store. 65.
Fatumat Sheriff, good evening. Welcome. We wholeheartedly welcome you on the official news outlet of the Liberia Public Radio. Thank you so much. Hopefully, you can follow this page. And I need your comments, suggestions as to how we can enhance our conversation.
Uncle Musa's store, 6523 Woodland Avenue. Anything we hear,
welcome to Uncle Musa Grocery, 6523 Woodland Avenue in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The business, we have a business grow on grocery store for African food, all West African food, from Liberia, mostly Liberia, and we have a palm oil imported from Liberia, and we have a very good customer service. If the customer buy from Uncle Musa Grocery, you get bonus certain times. And things are very reasonable. We have a good palm oil. Anything you want from Africa, West Africa, you can get it from Uncle Musa Grocery. We do retail and wholesale. So you can visit, and we have a couple stores in Philadelphia. We have one on 6523 Woodland Avenue, and another one is a clothing store on 6519 Woodland Avenue. And we have another one on Upper Darby Gary Road. So you're welcome for shopping. Everything is nice. Customer service perfect.
Everything. We will get a program going very shortly.
Fiber Queen off of Woodland. Everyone that's looking for a nice African for wedding, whatever fiber you need, you can just come over here. You have all this nice stuff. If you need a Chevy, you guys can come over here for baby shower, for wedding. You guys are welcome. She have really nice stuff. You can see all over there, all those men over here. You don't have to go to the theater and then they're going to be telling you all kinds of stories. You can just come here. They're already made. And
so let me know when the echo is okay. Ciara, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's what we have come on you guys. Because sometimes when we're doing this thing here, we assume we know that it's okay. So let me just make an adjustment here. If the echo is okay, just let me know.
We have different kinds of lists and everything. So you guys are welcome, okay? It's really nice. It's Fiber Queen on Woodland, 695 off of Woodland. 6625 Woodland Avenue, okay? So you guys are welcome. You have nice stuff here for nice stuff.
Good evening, folks. We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. Thank you for joining us here. Today is Monday, and I'm Afonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. Just somebody can, if you can throw a comment or tweet out that because here I just hinted me of an echo. If the volume is okay, I'll try to do a little bit of house cleaning here to make sure there's no other device, because when that happens, obviously, it goes right back into the system. These microphones are very sensitive, and that happens, make the echo to come. And I don't think we want to do that much better. Oh, thank you so much. That's the beauty of this network. And this is why we always value your presence. Because trust me, if you are not here, what am I going to be doing? To be talking by myself? But we know, not that you are in desperation, but for the love of your country. You just want to make sure what is happening in the motherland And not just only in the motherland, but also what is happening in our community. And this is why on this network, we intend not to leave no one behind. The society is huge. There are components and elements that constitute what we have society or even the Republic of Liberia. So why can't we even find times to look into our community to see what is happening? Some of you are doing an extraordinary job, and we are here willing to also for you to share your story, the story that's worth telling. We're not just here only with politicians. It has never helped us, and it will never help us. But they have to exist because they will lead the way through. We all can be Capitol Hill or Executive Mansion. And so this is why when people come on this network, we value your time, your precious time so much. Not that you don't have anything to do. And so less entertainment is not part of this network. Not just to buy more people because we want to satisfy other people's curiosity or their political endeavors. That is wrong. That is not the work of the media. The media is a conduit. We stand in the gap, the citizens and the government. We're not for, we're not against, but we are there to bring the message as it is, fair, balance, in a proportional context, especially at the time when the country is in a consequential period. We're going to be having two major elections. Two, the first branch of government and that of the executive. So why should we be having these political satires around here, having a conversation that would not be meaningful, that would not give somebody a clear-cut or precise direction in order to make an informed decision? We all can just be throwing these unnecessary political tantrums around here because these people, they support their late Kennedys or whoever. Okay, it is their choice. But we are looking at the holistic part of it, the country, a sovereign nation. We have to help for people to make decisions. And part of that is to inform, educate. You don't have to make up things that you do not know about because you try to capture the imaginations of people or take advantage of Liberians who are looking to have a second alternative on the basis of that. The nomenclature, who we are, what we represent, Liberia Public Radio. We try to work within the confines of that context. However, let me get it crystal clear. We have folks here, analysts here, at their own volition. They make their political choices. Some say they are independent, but their talking point doesn't sound like an independent. This is where they and we can always fall apart. One day to the point B, another day to point B. And we are on an obligation to be honest with our audience, with our viewers. Just how we want the politicians to be honest with us. We also have to be honest. Nothing wrong with establishing your political identity. And that's what I always compare them. You want to be an analyst here, you got to tell me. One of my professors said, you want to be door, be door. You want to be cat, be cat. You can be door cat. I am Afonso Z and Salt. The program is about to get underway. Let's take a quick commercial break and I will be right back.
Oh, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Facebook, Instagram, the entire line of social media is the Booker Washington Institute National Alumni Association of North America presenting to you 2023 National Convention in Newcastle, Delaware. Hey, the Tigers weekend long reunion will begin on Friday, June 30th, and from 8 a.m. straight up to 8 p.m. will be arrival of guests, registration, and hotel accommodation. Then 7 p.m. until 12 midnight will be the Tigers night out and Queen contest. Admission will be $20 only. Saturday, July 1st will begin with a General Assembly beginning at 9:30 a.m. straight up to 3 p.m. And that will be followed by the banquet and ball. Those open at 7 p.m. Address is 24 Blaine Vines Drive in Newcastle, Delaware. convention package for members is $150 US, while the ordinary will pay only $50 US. And to our sweet and loving kind sponsors, we'll pay $100 only. And then comes Sunday, July 2nd, is the farewell cookout. This is when fellow Tiger gets to say goodbye to Tiger. And ladies and gentlemen, the cookout address is 156 Boyer Drive in Newark, Delaware. For more information, please contact Charles Babu 267-240-5487, Jacqueline Bush 678-410-7223, Carlo Miller 619-793-7941, Gentleman Hassan Tor 609-280-9051. Please don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, this year's convention will be hosted by the Delaware Valley Chapter BWR. Come on, come on, and let's jam the weekend away.
We want to welcome our viewers and listeners across the globe. I am Afonso Zain, Sort of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. Time check in the East Coast is 8:23 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The conversation, the talking point, the political maritime gear seems to be shifting in central Liberia. The fight over Bon County, the backyard of the incumbent Vice President, Chief Dr. Joy Howard Taylor, Alexander Cummings, and the CPP, the CDC, Unity Party, in a tussle. Well, the analysts are here. In the meantime, we always like to keep news fair, balanced, and proportional. Let me just bring in then here the liberal progressive of the Liberia Public Radio is based in Saxton, Sacramento. Star, a strong supporter of Ambassador Joseph Newman Boyko. However, he politically migrated from Liberty Party to Unity Party. Jones Octavius Mali, yet to establish his political identity. But we are hearing sooner or later he's going to be making a decision. The Liberal is in extensive conversation with the progressive. They try to form a sort of progressive ally here. Let me bring in my analyst. Liberal Progressives is based in Saxton, Sacramento. They say him of host a conversation with Samson to right here, home state, in the ocean state of Rhode Island. Mr. John Octavio Mali, Senior, is here. Gentlemen, good evening and welcome to the show.
How are you, sir?
Good to have you here. Let me move this here. Liberal, we're not hearing you. Don't say I the one causing trouble with your microphone. Okay, good. My Jones, if you can elevate it, yeah. You look like those real those people and where it needs people to progressive type and oh my goodness. The Liberal, are you hearing me? We're not hearing you. Check your microphone.
He kept himself on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We're hearing you. We have not even started. You want to start your usual thing here again. Please, the night has not even gone anywhere. We're here for the serious business. Good evening, welcome. Jones, good evening, welcome.
Mr. So.
Oh, thank you, sir.
So, good evening, Doc. Good evening, Mr. So. I just want to let you know that I did not migrate from any. I am a member of Liberty Party USA. I only admire Ambassador Wakai. I don't know them. They don't know me. So when you're making that introduction, please make sure that part is heard and clearly stated. I don't know them. They don't know me. I just admire Ambassador Wakai.
But Mr. Moderator,
yeah,
do you know that the double loyalty can have consequences?
Where is he going with that one?
So the thing about it is, this is the dishonesty with radio personalities, politicians, and everybody. So in your whole party, you don't admire anybody. Nobody you admire.
Oh, yes, I do. I admire Senator Kanga Lawrence. The fact that she's not in the race, I then said I'm going to be. I admire, sympathize of Ambassador Walker. I'm not a sympathizer. I don't admire Unity Party. I'm not a sympathizer of Unity Party. So there's two different. You see, I have the ability to compartmentalize these kinds of stuff, Mr. Soul. I can come out and put one side here and the other side over there. I don't admire Unity Party. I am not member of Unity Party. I admire Ambassador Bakai. I am member of Liberty Party USA, and my loyalty is with the Kanga Lawrence group.
Oh my God!
Why you say you're going out of breath with all this long?
No, it's like the Liberty Party. It's like the Liberty Party have been factionalized by the liberal.
But the other people, these are the people.
Because he's
let's take a shot before we get to
the liberals support the holistic concept of the Liberty Party, but in there he shifted to a particular personality. So that confuses me,
She is my political leader.
Is she still a political leader?
I don't care what people say. She's still. I said my political leader.
So
political leader.
So your allegiance is to her or to the philosophy of the party?
Both.
Okay.
With her at the helm.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So I don't know how, Jones, you got to help me out here. We're going to get to the substance. It's an open mic, and we will have our guys involved here as well. How do we protect the laws of the land? We are talking about, we frown on the judiciary system in the country. But yet, when the judiciary system takes a decision, people say, no, they don't agree with it. And one of the chief facilitators is this guy, the liberal on this network. Why would you call Nyomli Kangat? You guys went to court. And that's your own words here. And you know that you take them to court. Take them to court. You went to court. And what happens there?
They were slapped in the face.
Mr. So in the court of law, there are certain things that the judges make this ruling, and there's sometimes you appeal to their senses that perhaps in the process of ruling, and I'm just speculating here, in the process of ruling, they have misquoted the law, and you point those things out to them. And now if they agree with you, they can reopen. Mr. So, there's no violence involved here. All we're trying to do is follow the legal process, and the legal process give us the avenue to go as far as we can.
So you appeal. Where is the final stop of your appeal in the court system? If it happens,
the court can always reject. The court can always reject us. We're not forcing them, but we're bringing.
Was it rejected this time around?
I don't know. I'm not part of the legal proceeding. I don't know.
You see? You see? You see?
All I know, she's my political leader, and I pray for her every day, and I hope that she will be successful. And whatever thing she puts her hand on, she should be successful. And since I'm on this success business, let me just say here very clearly that the closing argument will be dismal failure. The closing argument will be God will make them to fail.
Where that one coming from?
I'm just saying, since I'm on the line of praying for people, I pray that the people are closing.
You need to pray for yourself for redemption. You need to pray for yourself.
But I've already done the people on closing argument as individual. God will bless them, but as the organization itself, it will fail because it has no interest. They have no interest in being fair, and they have no interest and they have no interest into establishing and maintaining friendship. These are hypocrites as far as I'm concerned, and for that reason, I believe they will fail.
Jones.
Yeah.
How can you react to that? The sessions coming from
Well, my only advice is that when we're dealing with our sister platform related media programs and projects, I think we got to be a bit mindful when we try to single them out and try
the conversation is about to get more interesting. Let's go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, where Sisi Goya, a stalwart and strong supporter of Councilor Tiawan Se Gonglo, is here to square all out. And I'm quite sure the Liberal is about to get to some merge, because I think when you see Sisi bounce in, you see him behind the stage and try to do some little bit weightlifting, so then something is not going right. Mali John, hold on, so let me bring in Sisi Boyer. Boyer is joining us from Minneapolis, Minnesota. Mr. Boyer, good evening and welcome.
Appreciate you. Hi, everybody. Hey, the Libra and Mr. Mali, how you doing?
Good evening. Thank you for joining.
The guy, he know how to slaughter people when he can. He will give you all the juices and everything, and then in the next minute, then he will unleash. Okay, go ahead.
Instigator. Which one is he?
Hey, you know our almost stuff. Jones, go ahead.
Yeah, so what I was saying with reference to our sister platforms, I think it would be advantageous for us, because the problem now is the Liberal is saying in his prayer, he will be praying for the individuals that constitute the closing argument, but he will want for the entity itself to survive,
to fail.
Then my question now is, if the closing argument start to throw stone at the Liberal, definitely the stone will be thrown.
They won't be able to, because they won't be able to, because almost 15 years, 7-8 years or so ago, when Ben Sevi used to come here to the state, it was LPR, which then have the radio station at the time, internet radio station. He will be on our radio most of the time when he comes, so he knows we're fair. And what I'm saying, I'm being very truthful, because I don't accept people the way to treat friends, even if a friend is somebody that you don't agree with.
What is
a friend is someone who perhaps you think, whatever situation it is, if you say this person is my friend, you have to stay with that. You cannot and you must not undercut that friendship unless you feel that that person have done you wrong.
Okay, let me conclude now. Professionally, I think we should not be in the business of bewishing the success of other entity.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. Let's move on.
Yes, because it's like we have a project here, we have a program here. We can focus on those things. In the event something try to cross our path, maybe we can address it, but we need to which way for each other and support each other in any way possible. And where we have our indifference or indifferences, probably we can address those things behind closed doors.
No closed door myself.
Because when students start to come, it's going to hit Mr. Goya, it's going to hit the moderator, it's going to hit me, it's going to hit the Liberal.
Let them come to me. I say that. Let them come to me.
I just want to let piece of advice to the Liberal.
All right.
Thank you for the advice.
I don't know where he's going with this whole thing here. He tries to kind of to reconstruct this conversation we are about to have, and he was and I want to just disabuse him right here. I think we're just talking about certain thing the other day. He said, "Oh no, you don't talk about the other people." Now he coming to rewrite history. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Let's have a conversation here that is much more of an essence to the people that are listening.
Before you pivot, let me throw my own direct claw in that basket I got open. About the closing argument that didn't even begin. I vehemently disagree with my brother Mali. Let them throw the stones. Matter of fact, I'll tell them where to go to rock crusher to get enough rock to throw. I think it's incumbent upon us. And by the way, I have a problem, and I told Mr. So this, and I'm going to say this to Mr. Mali. I have a problem with us liberally using the term sister. I'm part of the LPR. Last time I checked, the Closing Network is not a sister institution. They are a media institution like us. We are not sisterly, unless maybe you sign some contract behind the scene that I have not seen. And to the extent that the method and what led to their creation is so antithetical to my moral beliefs, I don't think we can be sisterly. And we're talking about people who took money from somebody and they jumped ship without telling people whether they were employees, whether they were independent contractors for all the money they received. And now to have somebody step on their platform, have a verbal diarrhea of a mouth, it's spewing out garbage against a lady for us to sit there and say we're afraid that it will throw rock. I vehemently refuse to accept that we have a sisterly relationship.
They will fail.
Shown to us that they are morally bankrupt. As Goya said that. Let them come after me.
This is the Liberia Public Radio, where views are always heard. Welcome to the show. Y'all made me to talk something that I'm not supposed to talk here. I reached out to one representative. He said, I know you called me almost, I don't know, months ago. There was some sort of, like, bro, always for the drama. He said, boy, your people there on that network on account with AB exclusive or with the AB pass. So I said, what if here? He said, everybody on that network there. So I said, no. We don't disrespect people. All their questions are always legitimate questions, real national issue. If that's the only reason because you feel, or if that's what you feel, I can just wanted to show you that they will ask you tough questions. If our invitation is accepted, nobody going to insult you, nobody going to interrupt you. We allow people to tell the narrative, but we try to do it the right way. Okay, guys, welcome to the show. What they were sister is just sort of a generic or whatever name because they are already also in the business. But I do agree. Our philosophy is different from theirs. They have every network and they have the right. The only thing where I disagree with the other day that we shouldn't talk. Of course, if they are doing something that we feel, system network critique network based on their talking point. Well, let's get a ball rolling here, guys. The politics in Liberia is literally shifting. So the news, the headline by front page Africa. We saw how Bon County, the homeland of Dr. Joy Howard, a lot of the CDC. Even though they were there, she went and made some ridiculous statements in the past. When they bring it, you're eating, they not work for it. Now she's trying to reconstruct, and that's typical with politicians. Alexander Cummings, well, he was there during the weekend. It became a conversation. As usual, people are driven with this sort of crowd. Whether the crowd will resonate into actual vote, that's yet to establish. We are hearing source to Dr. Moneybat. He will be making a pick this week, precisely Friday, if nothing changed. And more or less, he pivoting in the, everybody now. No, Ambassador Boyka is coming female vice presidential candidate. We are hearing Dr. Moneybat is moving in that direction. Most likely a descent of Bond and Grand Bassa County. The clock is eating. Gentlemen, let me start with Sissy Goyle. Sissy, you watched the images from Bond County. Should we make a big deal out of that?
Well, first thing, if you notice, I had to take out my glasses because we looked at four blind old men on this network. So I said, let me take out my own so that people get caught.
Oh my goodness, you guys, you are mess.
So when I'm not seeing it, that's because I sacrificed it for the team. Mr. Male, you see, I took one for the team. So when I'm not reading anything clearly, but on a serious, the 4 Hebrew brothers was still called the 4 blind men. On a serious note, though.
Oh God. Boy.
See, that's why I like this network. And I don't know, I think nobody can beat us, seriously. But on a serious note to the question you asked, I don't know what you mean by a big deal, because for me, a big deal would mean somehow that we are assigning to it value that it doesn't deserve. I think it is, we should talk about that. I think the CPP and Alexander Cummings being able to draw that kind of a crowd in central Liberia, in the home county of the sitting vice president and former senator and former first lady, whose National Patriotic Party was formed in Banga. I think it's a big deal. It is a very big deal. And so we can't take that away from Cummings and the CPP. And we saw Chief Dr. Joel Howard Taylor return to Banga. And like you said, she's trying to backpedal on some of those things she said before. But that is politics. You know, sometimes you say some stuff and you move forward and you see certain things happening. You have to go back and, like my papa can say, you eat crow. So sometimes you got to eat crow, right? But I think I watch Banga and Bonkani will be very pivotal. I think people are focusing more on Niba County, and rightfully so. But if you sleep on Bon County, that's where the rope that's supposed to tie you will come from. Because right now, Lofa County, everybody is pushing in there. I see my uncles, the Tamba, the Koji, and everybody going there, except for the lady who actually technically is from Lofa County, Chief Dr. Joel Howard Taylor. When we go back to our own home county, she's stuck in Bon County. But I think people are focusing on Lofa and Nimba and sleeping on Bon County. And Bon County is the county for me that I'm watching. Bon County and Margibi, those are the 2 counties I'm watching, because if you sleep on either of those 2 counties, that's where the rope that will tie you will come from. And that's one of the reasons, Tier 1, we spent about 3 weeks over there. We hit almost 100 towns and villages, because we understood and we still understand the value that Bon County provides when it comes to picking who's going to be next in the executive mansion. So the ANC and the CPP for pulling such crowd in Banga.
Is that a genuine club?
No, it is you know me. If I'm not genuine, I start busting their bubble. Right now, I'm not ready to bust their bubble yet. Let's take that.
But before I shift gear here, you mentioned something, and Dr. the Vice President, when recently she was in Lofa, she was reminding people, sending that sort of a reminder, and you know from here, that was a sort of unique way of appealing people. I am your daughter, even though I'm not been coming here, whatever it is, like gonna be bygone. Why is she not putting more time in there? What could possibly be the reason?
I think she regrets not doing that. I think, and when you speak in Lofa County, they're the unspoken and the spoken. To go back to Lofa County, where her father and her brothers were major political actors and power brokers. To go back and say, "Hey, y'all know I'm from here," to remind people that they should remember that you're from there, speaks volume to the fact that she understands that for her to have abandoned Lofa County the way she did, for her to have withdrew and just focus on Bon County the way she did, hurt her a lot. That is even the reason when you see when the CDC is sending people to Lofa, they send Representative Thomas Fala and Mayor Jefferson Koji and Finda Bondo, and they leave the vice president out because they understand that the vice president stuck in Lofa County has diminished. And it's not because she did anything horrible in Lofa County. It's not because her father and her brothers or anybody did anything horrible in Lofa County. I think in her political calculations, she slept on Lofa. You know, she was senator for Bon County. That's fair. She should have focused on Bon County. But I think to the extent that she forgot where she actually is from, you know, it's a problem for her. And I think she's trying to backpedal there, trying to go back and try to mend some of those fences. I don't know if she still has enough time, but I that's a big issue for you to go back to your hometown and tell people, hey, you know I'm from here, you know.
So then let me just bring in Libra here. He's very calculative in giving description here. The Liberal, is there some sort of political covering up or some political blown my here on the part of the vice president? Was she not aware that this day were going to be coming? What is that, political guilt?
Well, no, I think if I were someone closer to her, I think I would play that card more, and even wrap it around the neck of Porcupine. You can't blame me, because when I try to cut right and Porcupine, they were blocking me. He's not there again yet now.
How can she say that? No.
Mr. So this is politics. You can't tell me what to say. I'm giving you my own view, please. So, she can say that, but that's not what I wanted to talk about. Bon County, Lofa County, yeah, but Bon County. Remember when she first started? Our time now. Anybody you ain't listening to? I will fire you one by one. And our time now. This is where she's now going back to Bon County to try to make amends. And interestingly, ANC, I think they will do their best not to hold all of their cars in Bon County. Stay there, represent, and move on. You brought the son of Bon County and you came to her. The last time, the vice presidential candidate was from Bon County. And the people from Bon County didn't throw their weight around you. Now you got somebody from Bassa. Now you expect Bon County now to come and I don't know how they're going to do that.
But then the people bubble first. Praise the people first. I said,
but then again, that's ANC. They're hanging. These are the people that hang around with most ability all the time. So it is what it is. It is what it is. But to expect to get some serious dividend from Bon County is going to be difficult. Now, Bon County most likely might take the place of Nimba, my opinion, in that you might have some serious divide in Bon County now. Because Nibadian most likely will throw their weight behind the rescue tool. But in Bon County, Unity Party and CDC will do all they can to divide the vote. And the issue is the representative from Bon County, like he's been in the news lately, now people saying that he's not credible anymore. And I'm not too sure what type of wire mashing they might put together with she and the vice president, because there's a split in there. So all of that go into play. How does she now go and campaign with Cole, who in the past have accused her of so many things? I have no respect for her. She brought this young man on board, and the men have pretty much turned against her. Now, I would like to see the political sujutsu that President Weah will not perform for these two people to truly merge as one and campaign in Bon County. Other than that, JNB. Nothing else, Mr. So JNB, let me just talk a little bit about JNB and Bon County.
30 seconds. I gotta go to Marley Jones, please.
Why you want to push me off now? I'm on the road. People love me. They love my analysis. Now you come to interrupt. The point here, JNB is from Lofa County. And the fact that the vice president had kicked Lofa County on the side, I don't know you anymore. I don't even want to be bothered with you for almost 4 or 5 years. Now, you don't know I'm from here. The people from Bon County will say, no, you're not from there. JNB coming for us. You don't know where you want. You want to be in Bon County or you want to be in Lofa County? Be where you want to be. But for now, Bon County, with that split on a very serious note, that conflict between Representative Cole and the vice president is going to hurt CDC, I believe. And that would give an opportunity for Rescue 1 and Rescue 2, and the mother of Rescue all would take Bond County, surely.
Okay, that's a view, that's an opinion. Jones.
Yep.
You listen to you listened to the self-elevations, interpretations, assertions by the liberal to try to put everything in his favor, which of course, that's something he's very strategic and cleverly good at doing here. But let's open this camera up good and see what is happening. Who is actually that cannot afford to lose Bond County into this whole process? Who's really
let me first begin by saying that the both panelists have got some point, but some of those points are just far from our own.
Right. We love Mr. Tour.
Yeah. But what I want to say here is this. Joe Harvard tell that the vice president is having a sleepless night. Unlike in 2018, they had a walk away. It was like a festival, you know. But now the challenges are very stiff right now. His Excellency President Weah has put her as a front runner now to go all over the place as the indirect public relations officer and see whether her county is indeed her county to be behind her. But this is a vice president that has rendered a gross disservice to the people of Lofa County. And there's a bad blood there, no matter what. There is a bad blood there. And worst of it, she's having sleepless night because you're having this board, Dr. Clarence Moniba, even jamming the whole radar now in Lofa County. Now he's moving down now to Bond County. And Joel Howard Stater, she sat in Bond County because that was the headquarters of the National Patriotic Front. We still remember his story. And so I want to believe strongly. She still try to defend that symbol, that dead symbol. But has she flipped to go to Lofa County, where she continued to say, this is where I was born. So, the where you were born, you consider to be the people there to be secondary citizen. And where your institution emerge, you consider to be a stronghold. Then you expect for the people of Lofa County to join you. I want to see that miracle be played. I really want to see that miracle.
You seem to be in a call with the liberal now, coming to this conclusion, trying to see this through.
I have not concluded yet. Mm-hmm. And so Joel Hamilton is having overtime duty right now. She's having overtime duty to tell the people in Lofa County that indeed she one of them. And she's finding it hard now to reconcile with the people in Bond County. So they might soon qualify her to be a political traitor. I yield.
Political traitor. What is, there are multiple interpretations.
I like how you can face jacket when you feel throwing the bomb, then you say
Mr. So, before this other one escape me, please, let me make this one point quick. I think the vice president, to be honest with you, she has some kahuna. As still appealing would say. She's strong. Kahuna.
What is that?
Don't worry about it.
Let's not define something worse on this network. Let's tell you that why I mean.
This guy, man.
Now, so this lady,
Kaunda been there ever since. Wait, Kaunda.
I said, okay, whatever. That's fine. Whatever. Let's leave it as that. But the point here is this: this lady, the vice president, current vice president, she's tough, she's brave, and she's assertive. This is the lady that CDC decided to sweep under the mat, under the rug, when Miguel was running it. This lady, they kept up arm's length with President Weah. They go places, she won't be there. But now the CDC, they always put their foot in their mouths. Now, here they are. They're jammed now. They got nowhere else. They can't go to Tamafara. All that money you spend in election is still vast. They can't go to Jefferson Kochi. So now they turn to her to go to these places. And as good human being as she is, she turned to them and said, do you guys remember me? Things you used to do to me. But because of the party's sake, because we're all in this together, I will go to these places. And this lady is now the face of CDC. Incredible. Incredible the way they treated her. And this is what I keep saying here on this network. Those of us that got sisters and daughters and moms, Liberian women are not your toys. You cannot be playing with them. CDC play with her. And now they depend on her. They can't move. CDC now got some sabotage stuff. They call themselves intellectual. George, we are intellectual, whatever it is. Now, I will deal with them later. But they're depending on the vice president now to move them. Mr.
Okay.
So, this is very sad.
You always, in the first 30 minutes, you always sound so ridiculous. The woman is a sitting vice president. She's on a ticket. So wait a minute. Then let me send this question here because who seems to track past history now. Prince Johnson comments, statements against the ambassador. Here they are. They are in a union. How can you define that?
Mr. So.
I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Sissy.
Okay. All right.
Well, and that's why I say, when I say in politics, people have to eat crow, right? Because there are times and that's why people who usually go to the extreme eat the most crow, because when you're always at the extreme of stuff and you got to now walk it back, it's really difficult. But I also do think that those two things they're not equal. Number one, Prince Johnson is now on the ballot. He's not running for vice president or president. What Mr. O'Toole spoke about was a ticket, the two taps on the ticket, the presidential and vice presidential candidates having issues. So if you talk about the issue of Melvin Cole, again, how deeply involved with the campaign is Melvin Cole and then the vice president to see at what level the disagreement rise. But if you talk about what happened within the CDC and how they pushed the Chief Dr. Joel Howard Taylor on the side and was sidelined and coming back now to deal with that, I think that's on a different scale compared to Prince Johnson and Buckeye. Although Prince Johnson said very worst thing about Buckeye, but he's not on the ticket. Let's be fair. And I think one of the things that we need to start doing in our own analysis, and I've been trying to do that with my guys, is let's stop looking at shadows. Let's look at the person in front of us. For me, I want to see Jeremiah Kuhn. I'm tired of looking at Prince Johnson because Prince Johnson is not on the ticket. I want to see Jeremiah Kuhn, and I want to discuss Jeremiah Kuhn and what he stands for and what his mindset is, what his mission and vision are, versus what he got in here, where his shadows are. Because when we start to look at shadows, it's going to be very difficult for us to discuss what is really important to the Liberian people, because almost everybody we draw have shadows. The ANC, the Ellen shadow is there. The CDC got a bunch of shadows. Our liberal groups, when they start drawing the Suzuku and the Moja shadows, those are there. So for me, I want to look at the person in front of us, the people that are on the ticket, and what their history tells us and what their mission and their vision are, so we have a clear understanding for our people to make decisions. But you were right to an extent. To your question generally. People have to eat crow, and that's what politics is. You remember the issue with the South Carolina senator and Donald Trump, when the man had to even take his own cell phone on live and hit it with a golf stuff, and yet he came back full circle. So politicians are crow eaters, and so we shouldn't be having an issue with that.
So now the question is quite correct with the vice president. I remember 2-3 years ago when I visited Liberia, that was very unusual. A high political office. And I sat with the vice president, and she looked in my face to say she preferred not to talk about politics, but she was more or less comfortable to talk about her foundation. But at that time, it was at the zenith of the huge divide. To some extent, that she's almost literally And it was a huge intervention, not knowing we're going to come to this day. And you're quite correct. Now, the question now becomes, will we have access to these people? You have fixer number one, fixer number two, rescue one, rescue two. They have given all of these codes that is understood by their followers. Those are
one and spoiled two.
Who's the spoiler one? Spoiler
But if people facing things, somebody spoiled before, so we gotta have spoiled one, spoiled two.
Oh God. So Mary Jones.
Yeah.
And
I
and this is what
Mr. So you most likely not gonna have a good night here on this platform tonight because your central right is not here to help you out. And I think we are intellectually going to dismantle anything you throw at us here tonight. So go ahead.
You have more to say?
Go ahead.
All right. Sister Tory point, and that's the argument we've been making all along here. The three, the CDC coalition, the CPP, and the United Party. The question now, will we have asset enough? Because these people are very strategic and it's everywhere. We're not going to hold them to responsible. But these platforms, not that we are not reaching out to them, but they are very selective because everybody, don't want to kick the can down the road. They don't want to make a mistake. Oh, that play is not a safe zone. You go there, you don't know what's going to happen. Now, will the Liberian people be able to get these conversations, these issues of policy? Removing George Weah is not saying it's okay. But what are we replacing it? How and what are the details? Why are we removing him? Why he should be removed? Will they be able to outline this point by point, convincing, tell us how they're going to make government? I want to know how governments, civil servant salary will be current. I want to know better wages for teachers, nurses. And if they are talking it, where is this money coming from? Are they willing to unveil themselves for us to have this sort of genuine conversation instead of this sort of entertainment that is saturated in the news cycle? Marley Jones.
Yeah, I think these are some of the mysterious, secret, or hidden aspects of these politicians. Unlike in the 60s and in the 40s, they came around and had a lot of narrative and had a lot of slogans. Vote for me, I will do this, I will do this. But since the war up to now, I noted that like most Liberians have become half functional in analyzing things now, especially in Liberia. So the issue we just driving at now, like the people coming to tell us, because to be frank with you, there are some things the politicians are saying we can hold their legs to the fire. In the first place, the United Party is even in a big trouble right now.
How?
Since they brought their rescue tool to the limelight, I have not seen any other political party. We have officially 30 political party in Liberia right now, or more. I have not seen any political party crossing to join with the Unity Party at a particular time. And it's something that worries me. And secondly, I have realized that up to this time, the same thing we spoke about before even they announced the number 2 person in the Unity Party about their messaging up to today. It's like they have created a scenario that the vote is sitting somewhere and they will only open the box on October 10 and the vote jump into their favor. This is what I think the Unity Party is thinking about. And that could be very, very, very disappointing to the Unity Party. And the next disappointing thing is this. I heard from the grapevine that Yomli Kanga and all those who have pledged their loyalty to the Unity Party have told the standard bearer to just relax and they will do his job. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way. That strategy there, it doesn't work that way. A Joseph Barker cannot appear to face the people and justify why they think he should replace His Excellency Weah. That's a problem. Because up to now, the messages, in fact, the only people that have a little bit clear message right now that I've been hearing about, I think Tier 1 is one of them, and the ANC. But the rest of the guy, they have murdered this whole thing. You see, I now realize that George Weah is popular. He now is taking the back seat and allowing his vice president that he sandwiched a few months ago to do his job. And the strategy here is he wants to see how this guy can push the car and he come and add it up. This is why I see right now. But he forgot to know that the VP, she's not a political liability to the CDC. She has lost complete grip on Lofa County because she's been using that as a guinea pig. She can't get there anymore. Besides that, ANC might be moving there, but Clarence Moluba is even jamming that radar now for both Boakai and CDC. Moluba had nothing to lose. He wouldn't need a knee recognition. So even if he loses the election, he doesn't care. But he's going to create serious problem for these two groups. So Joseph Boakai will have to move. He has to reposition the needle rather than getting his ambassadors like Sese said. Up to now, we don't know what constitute Rescue 2. We don't know what constitute him. He has not addressed the Liberian people. Making the pocket statement around town, that's not what we want to hear. We want to hear something substantive. So that terminology, Rescue 2 and Moral Rescue, I don't see it filtering down with the Liberian people. It's just another slogan that's going to cause a disaster for the Unity Party. I yield.
You know, can I say something on Clarence Monimba real quick?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the liver is burning with him.
I've heard him get thrown in here a lot. Look, Clarence Monimba would be just like the late doctor and the guy that I had the last political party who passed recently.
Cassell?
Yeah, he's a cash cow. Clarence Monimba has no name legacy in Lofa County. Remember that the Monimba did not become vice president because there was a free and fair election that he carried Lofa County. And Dr. Monimba and Clarence Monimba have been on Lofa County politics for so long. And the only one claim Clarence Monimba has to Lofa County is his father's name. And you think even coming from the belt that is the least populated, and that's where he's going to use the name recognition to push to get more votes. Tiawan Gonglo is going to get more votes in Lofa County than Clarence Monimba by far. Because you know what we're doing? We've already sent the wife of Tiawan Gonglo, who was born in Lofa County, who's always been in Lofa County almost every year, to Lofa County. Not somebody who's lived in the diaspora forever and decides that I will go back one day and I'll just beat my chest. Say, you know, he's doing like Chihuahua Taylor now. You ain't know from here, ain't know my body to be from here called Monimba, and you know nothing about the culture, nothing whatsoever, and you think that's how Lofians vote. I think that is a disrespect to people that think that that's how Lofians are going to vote, or somebody who, because your father was vice president, you have not been in the county, you have not been visible either anyway, and you think you're just going to fly by over there and go there, and that's how you're going to get a vote. Clarence Monimba would be surprised in Lofa County.
Okay, Mr. Muller,
Okay.
before you just
hold on 1 second. Hold on. I don't want this. Hold on.
Yeah.
You will have your day. Through visual, I can see it. You say some things, and the liberal is spinning literally in his seat there. So I want to give him the chance. I don't want him to have a situation that I'm here to sanction his voice. That's not who we are. But Malice says something. The folks of Unity Party now say it, the ambassador should relax. We saw the endorsement from the motorcyclists or whatever union. Another group, another faction is being created. Say, no, they're not the real people. You broke that news to me. So is it true that they asked the ambassador to relax and they were going to do all they can and at the end of the day hang in the presidency?
Yombly, she said that.
Mr. So, I think you have succeeded in putting a wedge among all three of us at this point. I think I underestimated you thinking that we were going to run you over here tonight, but I think you have. I will give you that much that you have succeeded in putting a wedge among us here, but which is fine. But let me just say this: Sissy made some point here, which I believe CDC is in the process, always in the process of trying to create a shadow, as Sissy would say. Now, having had Ambassador Baga picking Senator Cohn, CDC have nothing to offer. They have nothing to attack Senator Cohn with. So what do? They go and bring in Prince Johnson, a shadow. And these are people that I should take seriously and try to debate them or have a conversation about them with them. No. CDC is making Prince Johnson a shadow, of course, because they got nothing to offer. They're in trouble because all of their doing things that they have done, they cannot come out and state to the Liberian people some of the tangible. They're not going to make it. So CDC, they, as I said, they're always putting their foot in their mouths. But the fact that they are unable to produce at this time, they're making the vice president the face of CDC at this time. The lady whom they have insulted publicly, they're making her the face of their organization at this time. And she's doing a good job of it. And I respect her for that. She's very brave and she's not vindictive, I would say. Now, that Molly, my goodness. My goodness. Have you guys not seen the social media lately? Why this statement that was made by our political leader, Madam Lawrence Kanka, about sitting down, that the ambassador sit down, then we will do that. That was just a figure of speech. We all know that for a fact. Lately, have you not seen the ambassador standing with the people when they're trying to endorse him or making statement in his support? Do you see him in the corner standing somewhere in a house? No, he's in the street. I'm not even going to dignify that, Mr. So. You coming back and trying to put this saying into my beautiful, beautiful analysis, Gary, here tonight. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. Let me just say it lastly. In terms of the issue with Moluba and what have you, Brother Sisse, you can't have your cake and eat it at the same time. Well, you're not you, Brother Sisse. But that's what I said about you northern liberals. We cannot count on you guys most of the times. Are you not the same northern liberal who told us here that the fact that people were questioning Charlene Brunsky, even though she's from Bassa, but she doesn't speak Bassa, and thinking you frown on that? Now you're going to sit here tonight and say that Dr. Moluba being in the diaspora all this time, now you're going to go back to do what? We can't have the cake and eat it at the same time.
Wait, are you?
Get a man chance. Let you finish.
They didn't tell me I was supporting Saladema. I've never said that yet before about Saladema.
Fire in the hole. Mission accomplished.
I said Charlene Brunsky. When they came out and said that Charlene Brunsky.
Yeah, that's Saladema. That's how I'm going Saladema.
No, I'm not saying support. You said the fact that people will come out and try to question her identity in whether Congo or not, it won't fly.
But I didn't say money by is not from Lofa. I didn't question
it.
No, but
let's neutralize the conversation a little bit. Mission accomplished. This is what I wanted for people to go bumper. Let me go to Connecticut, where Wilton Kettle, senior analyst of the Liberal Public Radio, support the administration of George Manawia, is on the phone. Wilton Kettle, good evening.
Good evening, Mr. Sue, and good evening to all the great panelists, the analysts on the show tonight. You know, I was listening. I just got up not too long trying to get ready for work, and I spurred the Liberal trying to get CDC entangled into the mess of the opposition. When he said, you know, we put our foot in our mouth, concerning using
they got working really hell, yo.
Huh?
I said the liberal portfolio movie is a pain in the neck for you, eh?
Because I think when you put in their own feet in their mouths. The idea is, let me understand now. When this whole picking of whoever started, it was the very opposition that started attacking themselves. That the ticket is not Kun, it's Prince Johnson. It was the ANC people. It was people who supported him previously, the Costa. You never heard CDC going on and talk. For all we care, we care less about who, whether picked or not. You're gonna get whipped. We told you people, Nima County is a battleground right now. Local County is also a battleground right now. So for not gonna win 90% in local country. So Johnson cannot determine Nima County to say they will win. You turn over Nima County to Joseph Baka and win 90%. No, it's not happening. So if you are taking a big chunk of Nima County, he's not going to win Nima County 90% also, but he's going to take significant chunk of Nima County. He's going to take significant chunk of local county and we'll put it over the board. So, when I listen to the river, they're trying to push the thing on CDC to make CDC look like, okay, we sitting into their fries. No, we're not in your fries. You're fry among yourself. You can kill yourself, and then we sit down and get to our presidency. That's all we want. Just continue doing what you do. They're not for us there. We're not in your conversation. We using no shadow yet. You see us having our primary. We're trying to organize our primary. You see, we're trying to organize our different groups over there to start working for soldiers. We're making sure that we're not taking the election lightly. We're not going to sit down and look at the dysfunction of the opposition and say, okay, it's a walk in the path for us. No, we are working hard to make sure that we secure the win of President Weah. So for you, I don't want you guys to be sitting and talking about, CDC, no producing a shadow. There's nothing of such. Kun can be like, Kun is the standard bearer. The standard bearer played by Joseph Parker. Fine. Let's see what Nima County will deliver for CDC.
All right.
Can I say hit and run before the man run away? Because he let him do hit and run. He's talking about ANC. The CDC has not said anything about Joseph Boakai pick. Can he talk about what Koji said about since the Joseph Boakai pick going after Prince Johnson that led to y'all going to the main church to protest and all that stuff?
No,
and
you see that one.
They're not still picking for on Prince Johnson because of Jeremiah Kun, or you want to forget that part there, or you just got off from city.
The reason why he made that offer is because
you agree it happened first? You agree it happened first?
Assassinating.
That's
how he accused the opposition now.
You agree that Koji went after him, right?
Some others in Nevada want to undermine his authority because he's very insecure.
Get up.
You say because they take Jeremiah Kun.
Okay. So hold on. Let me ask this question so we'll move on.
Do you agree that it happened, Keto? And do you agree that it happened? If it happened, is Jefferson Koji not the Secretary General of the CDC? And if Koji can make such statement, how is that not the CDC making the statement?
I just said it. If you accuse me of saying something, or wanting to do something, I have no idea. It's not even crossing my mind. But in a political or political tense or society, what you expect? I should sit down and keep mute. I will come back to you and say what I have to say. Prince Johnson is not a determining factor now in our politics. To be honest with you, in my country, we got all the big state, and even you or my brother, your broom man. Your broom man is taking a significant chunk of Nima County from Prince Johnson. That's something to be sitting and thinking about. The broom man.
The next president disrespecting so calling the broom man. The next president.
I have a question. For Keto, Mr. Moderator. Keto.
Yes, sir.
I realize that the vice president is using the people in Lofa County as guinea pigs and transferring her loyalty to the people of Bond County. How sure are you going to win Lofa County?
using the local country as guinea pigs? Are you kidding me?
Yes.
I won't even reframe the question, but I don't understand when you say using the as guinea pig.
She was born in Lofa County. She has transferred. Listen now. She was born in Lofa County. She has transferred her loyalty to the people of Bone County. Now she's going back to the people to remind them that she was born there. All right. So I put her in a category. She's using that as a guinea pigs for votes. How sure are you?
Dual citizen. She.
Okay. So let's bring. Okay. That's a mission accomplished, folks. Viewer listeners, this is the number is out there to add your voices to the conversation. What do you think? Because it's just become a son. But in the meantime, let's take this quick commercial break here. As part of our obligation to serve the community, not just on the national front, because the community become more effective when we have national government become more effective when government is also effective. This not Sunday. On Wednesday, the Tigers, that's the Booker Washington Institute Alumni Association, will be hosting their 30th annual convention. Spotlights conversation when I hit LPR, that's the Tigers. The national president, Mr. Eric Harris, the vice presidents of the Valley of Delaware, Madam Miller, and of course, Charles Babot, the vice chair on regional planning. They will be right here on the Library Public Radio. And we're going to be having a conversation here this coming weekend. It's going to be a blast in Newcastle, Delaware. And to our pageant to Penrith, a conversation has literally concluded. Library Public Radio, starting on the 1st of July, will also be having a collaboration with Big FM 103.9 in the West African state of the Republic of Liberia. We will begin content sharing, adding that up to Sky. We need to have this sort of a capacity building because I think we need to pump and beat census call issue here. So we are doing everything best possible. The number is here if you want to participate, to call. You listen to the analysts, their sections, their views. Also, you can have a saying here, 682-433-8802, and it's available on via WhatsApp. You can also make your goodwill donations to Liberia Public Radio at for the work if you chooses to do that. Okay, let me go to neighboring Massachusetts, 508 number 4505. Good evening, caller.
Thank you ever so much. The name is Jared Dobley from Worcester.
Okay, Jerry, hold on 1 second. Jerry Dobley is calling from neighboring Massachusetts.
People are doing.
Jerry, let me just bring you in here. You've been listening to the guys, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So may I ask you, do you have a side? Do you have a pick in this political process? We want all of us must be held accountable, not just only the politicians. So I will know. I want to see how, if there's any pushback from us too. We must hold callers and everybody accountable. Do you have a side into the political process in Liberia?
Yes, not because God have given me opportunity, advanced country, I'm just sit and remain mute.
Correct. Okay.
For me, I have studied the entire system within our country. When we were small, let me show you a little example here, brother. The old man, the papa will tell the old man, say, you need to go down water side and get clothes for the children. Then when you go play, your friend will ask you, oh my, just for write it down, oh my, buy me clothes, and the papa will say that tomorrow you're kidding. And say, mama, yeah, tomorrow the Christmas will not be easy yet. First thing looking at the CDC, God forbid, you get a second thing, there will be no country called Liberia. The people have no plan. 12 years ago, they were in opposition. They have no plan. The thing they call government, political party, that government ain't waiting. If you come to power, the government responsibility, you have to create job for each citizen. They say they have to bake you. Even in America, everybody fight people come. This is why they get Walmart, Stop and Shop, all the small areas you go to go work. So you know what, go work in government, you go work in government, you know what, go work in private area, you go to the responsibility of government. But CDC government, but the only thing you ever made chief for who? I was a chief for them, they had no play. Faking society job, I just be community,
Okay, let me hold you right there.
The entire government is a total accident to the country.
Okay, let me hold you right there. So, from my understanding, and I guess that there's someone or there's a group that has a plan right now, correct?
Pardon?
Do you have a political party that have a plan now? If CDC does not have a plan, do you have a political party that is currently participating in this process that have a plan now?
Oh yeah, the former ruling Unity Party, I support them for now. I support them. It's not about Unity Party. I look at the future of our country, even our unborn children. You can't get the people in authority that nothing is doing. It's just looting, stealing from the country every day.
Yeah, in hold on. And this is what I have problem with people. Okay, you can replace, that is cool, but you have to outline. So what is the plan of Unity Party right now? 30 seconds here, if you can wrap that up for us. What is the plan that you know or we do not know, and for the rest of the Liberian, because that will serve us, will educate us. What is the plan of Unity Party right now? Do you know?
Thank you ever so much. The first plan of the Unity Party of Umbrella, the thing they call agriculture is very important. The first thing you have to connect the country with pertaining to road. If you had a better road, people take the product from the farm, they bring it in the city, they sell, they will be able to sustain themselves to take care of the family. These are one of the key things. One of the things that CDC came and also from the former Unity Party, they say the facing road. So one of the players of the former Unity Party.
So GM brother,
they need the road to connect the country.
So GM brother.
Yes, sir.
Are you telling me Unity Party will be talking about roads? Connection?
Number one, road, they want to connect the entire country road. We talk about agriculture, where a lot of people will bring a product to sell and sustain their own self. They don't have to depend on government. You get your plenty, you take it for local, you bring it from Nima, you bring it, you sell it, you get your money, you sustain yourself.
So when was this realized that roads needed to be connected, agriculture, vendors need to get their produce out there? When did Unity Party realize that there was no roads in the country? After 12 years.
2017, I wanted the issue that Unity Party were pushing. 2017. But CDC came to power, these are playing the hustle for Unity Party. They just joined into it, they just doing it some kind of way. But they don't overstay. See about the thing you call road is very important. Even in advanced country, if you get a better road, you can go anywhere you work. This is why people drive long distance. You might drive for you, go far, or I to go work and come by here.
Thank you so much. The voices here. Yeah, the voices from the people. I will be coming to you. Let me go to another caller here. 763 number 7242. Caller, good evening. What's your name and where you calling from?
How you doing, sir, brother, Mr. So? This is Elvis calling from Minnesota.
Oh, that's Susu your phone.
You did that. You still, brother.
So Elvis,
how you doing? How you doing?
Not bad. Roll. The people that are doing agriculture.
Yeah, I told you that road business there. Hey, hello to the panelists. I want to ask Mr. Mali if the American does Liberian man one more. Because you got to put our Liberian flag behind it. Liberian push you on.
We just passed.
Well, look at that guy. You know, when you look at that, it becomes so emotional and talking about roll. Look, the people were begging for road funds. They were even the guy running for president money, but he said, I think the road from Harper to some place that he don't want help, beg for the funding to fund that road. It's not even like we paying for our own roads, or we were paying for our own roads on Ellen Johnson. We had to go big Japan, big the Swedes, big other nations to help us build roads. So what new idea is Joseph Boyka coming with? If you're talking about building roads for our own money, you gotta first raise our budget. Have we raised the budget? Yes, CDC has raised the budget, but not even significantly enough to build roads on our own. So the same thing the government doing, begging for money for road funds or taxing people to put money into a road fund, is the same thing that United Market people coming back with. They got no new ideas. All they have is the fear monger. If you read Joe, we had for 6 years, there will be no place called Joseph for 12 years, he did nothing, he didn't have money. $3 million that man made just on salary and loans. Why any auxiliary benefit? Just on his salary alone, Mr. So you living in America, somebody gave $3 million over 12 years. You tell somebody you're living alone. Your wife will leave because you're saying fiscally irresponsible. How you blow $3 million into it and say poor? Come on, man. So the Unity Party for crying poverty, crying that if you give it back to them, the country will not be normal. It's like a ex-boyfriend who said that who's trying to buy more the woman new boyfriend because you're not there anymore. I will treat you better. I mean, I really love you. When you come up to me, I will tell you, but that time pass, my man. Woman move on to better things. They go move where for every person better than that's JNB. I'll leave it there.
I'll leave it there. Views expressed on this network does not in any way represent the views and management of the Liberia Public Radio, but we allow these hardcore views and opinions here. That's what we do. We do not intend and we will not leave no voice behind. Sister Goyot, I have to bring you into this one here. You listen to the brother from the
Mr. Malik, I plenty of questions you want to ask you. If you
I told you I had a question for the first caller. You didn't let it
Oh.
call listen to his question.
No, I don't think we should. We should.
And you started it?
No, but Keto na call. Keto na panelist.
That
So you're going to ask panelists that call.
No, we can dialogue with our callers when we make it. But I don't think we want to get into the habit to kind of like. But we are on obligation to question somebody.
Question for clarification. I'm in doubt.
So is that Keto you wanted to ask?
No, you wanted to ask the guy from Rhode Island.
Let's just come in.
But you wanted to ask Jerry. Jerry from Massachusetts.
Yeah. So, Sissy, this rural business, agriculture, and this and that. Hey, in fact, their guys, their people, are they really explaining to us in details? I mean, giving us the open book for us to see how these we're going to do. Because the liberal here was when Ambassador Barker was talking about the liberal Kenya, he engineer by profession. He said, coming out on this one yet. That's not possible. It's not going to work. But let me just bring you in here. How can this guy debate with Councilor Tier 1 Gongo with all of these things here? Who's going to be victimized politically?
Well, anybody that gets in the political arena will be victimized politically. Look, we've come to a point where we have to stop doing the tabata. I listened to ERBC with my man, my esteemed brother, the best economist of our time since Liberia was founded, Samuel Twe, talking about CDC taking 25 million people out of poverty in a 5 million population country. So we have to be able to really critically ask these people serious questions. Look. I like my brother Elvis, and he talked about the issue of budget and budget being raised. CDC government raised the budget, and they lowered their wage bill because they did this whole harmonization to lower the wage bill. Yet they're still begging for funds to do basic infrastructure. Samuel told us to say, by the way, thank you to the Swedish people and the Swedish government for giving us some more money again to play our role. When are we going to stop these things? And then my brother Malik can get upset when these foreign countries get involved in our local politics. Right? We get on our national radio and say, let's thank the people from Sweden or Sweden, their citizens for giving us more money again. Then we have a problem with that. So for me, I continue to say this. I like when people talk about the issue of agriculture.
Well, yeah, hold on one second. I will come to you. Hold on. My analyst. Hold on 1 second. I will come to you, okay?
About mechanized farming. Because we can't be talking about agriculture and still thinking about the thing we used to do back in the day where we would go to flat one day with John Koo, a bunch of men together, we go brush your person farm today, and go brush your person farm tomorrow, and then we burn it and we just doing him to mob. I hope that's not what people are talking about. And if people are really serious about agriculture, then they will show us about how are they going to get more people to go to agricultural college, how are we going to improve the stock and the learning and access to equipment at the agricultural colleges around the nation to ensure that our people come in there learning mechanized farming so that we'll be able to feed ourselves, and how long that's going to take. For us to just always sit and say agriculture, we invest in agriculture. How? What kind of agriculture are we talking about? Our people tired of this hand-to-mouth agriculture. That is not agriculture. That is not what we're talking about. We're not talking about subsistence farming anymore. And so I'm yet to see that from most of these people who are talking these things about how are they going to move that. Yes, it's good to build farm to market roads. Starbucks did that with all those farm to market roads. It's very important to have these substations of the Ministry of Public Works that used to happen before in those various towns along the way so that they are cleaning spaces around them. Those are all good ideas. How are you going to fund them? Where in the budgets are they going to come? Is this going to come from the president's pocket, or is there going to be something in the budget? Is it going to be codified in law so that the next government account doesn't stop it? For me, those are the serious things I'm looking at. I'm not looking at people just throwing stuff out there and say we'll do agriculture, we'll do school, everybody clap for them and go, or telling people how they're going to do it.
Okay, let's go to the phone line. I'm going to be coming there. And that's the consequential question. That's the question with the hook. The how is what they are not telling us. Let's go to the phone line here. Call out 701 number 6395. Good evening. What's the name and where you calling from?
Yeah, Alfonso, thank you very much. This is Henry Dennis. I'm calling from North Dakota.
Mr. Dennis, welcome to the show. Let's hear you.
Yeah, I just listening. In fact, I watch your show most often. I think you see some of my comment. You and your guy over there, who is their new guy for their Minnesota school district. I would just personally like to say congratulations to you, but I think you and we have interacted on this show. But I just listened to the guy who called first from I think Worcester and talking about, and when you ask him about, when you try to press him about the plan for Joseph Boakai want to become president of Liberia, and he said rose. It's so baffling to me, you know. How can Joseph Boakai, I think I asked this question several times on your show, how can you try to run to become president and you don't have a plan, you don't have a blueprint? Joseph Boakai has been in power in government for almost like 40 some more years. He should have a plan a long time ago. What is his plan for the education sector? How are you going to fix the education sector? Because there's no way you can fix education in Liberia without technology. There's no way. There's no way you can fix agriculture. There's no way you can fix healthcare without technology, all these things. So he should have a blueprint. If Joseph Boakai doesn't have a blueprint, then what? I mean, what's the essence of his running? He's supposed to have a plan at this time to be telling the Liberian people, A, B, C, I will be doing in this sector. A, B, C, D, I'll be doing in the other sector. You understand? We shouldn't be asking at this time, and he shouldn't be giving, people shouldn't be giving vague answers, say, oh, the man will do that, he will do that. They need to provide specific. Joseph Boakai needs to provide specific when it comes to his plan on every sector of the country. Liberia has changed. The country is down. We need people with ideas. We need people with vision. We need people who have the energy to move the country forward. The country is down. We are some people supported George, we all supported George, but I mean, we can go back to cover a hole and dig another hole. There's no way. So Boakai just needs to provide a plan, specific plan, A, B, C, D, how you're going to develop every sector of the country. That's just my take on this whole issue. Thank you very much, Alfonso.
Mr. Dennis, thank you so much for participating here. Let's see this number here, 832 number 1441. Are you there? We are running out of time.
Yeah, hey, Mr. So and all the panelists, happy Father's Day first. Let me get that out of the way.
Thank you so much. Wish you the same.
Yeah. And, you know, it's something that scared me today. I don't know if you already talked about it. When a political party or government in waiting will be selected of which program they will attend or they will allow their Senate bearer or their past Senate bearer to attend. I think that's a scary for me. Because when we start doing work, which program we love or which station we love, I think that's a scary something, and I don't think we should be doing that. Yeah. Every voices won't be heard. Excuse me?
Yeah. I said no. Yes. No. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. I think we should listen to every voices. You may not like it, how they criticize you or the question of them, and you can answer the question the way you want to answer it. But to tell your boss to the bird not to go on a program, I think that's a scary thing. When your government is waiting. And the second thing I wanted to say, I listened to the Vice President Joseph Boakai saying in 3 years, if Liberia elect him, in 3 years, he will fix all the roads. I just wonder when he came to that realization. When you were in government for 12 years, you were not able to pave for 1 meter of road. Now, when he becomes president, that's the time he'll be able to face road or you will solve Liberia problem, possibly.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right. These are views of concerns, and Liberian wants to know the directions of the country and how the politician and the how is what they are finding is so difficult to interpret, to explain to us. Guys, let me bring you into this conversation. Marley Jones.
Yes, I just wanted to make one or two clarifications for our last caller from Worcester, so that I can form part of our record. When we talk about the issue of agriculture, like what Sissy said, it has been just a saying. People just talk about it. But I want to take my hat off, first of all, to His Excellency, the late Samuel Kanyan Doe, when he launched his Green Revolution. When he launched his Green Revolution project and put His Excellency Joseph Boakai in charge of the Green Revolution, and everything went haywire. And there was this scandal of $2 million that could not be accounted for, and Joseph Boakai had to be asked to take the back door. Well, I'm bringing this scenario in because if you are giving $2 million to work on a green, at least Doe was able to identify something strange for the first time. Okay? It was termed Green Revolution. Its definition speaks for itself. $2 million records are there. And Joseph Boakai was given this statutory responsibility, and he fell short miserably. Now, so when we're talking about agriculture producing job, agriculture can produce job. What Sissy said, it has to be clearly defined. And Joseph Boakai tend to impress on the Liberian people that he is agriculture scientist. But if I hold him back to his past, into the present, and what he's going to do in the future, I doubt it he still carry that title. That one. Two, under Joseph Boakai's government in 12 years, the caller, there were 85% unemployment under Helen Johnson government. So I try to reconcile that with CDC financial expert who say they told Liberia out of 25 million people out of poverty. Those are political statements. You see, they can be held accountable for the kind of terrible statement. Every day, the burden of Liberia is being felt on us in the stadium. We can really say who is suffering in our country there. Some are feeding more than 3-4 dining room table in Africa, including Liberia and Ghana. All right? So what we are driving at here is that, like the past, the politicians had not been able to really clarify their messages to us. And we have come of age now. They don't need to come on this platform. They have been moving around the country. Joy Howard Taylor went to the 6 counties. She did not provide any substantive platform statement in those places. Oh, it's about time for you to vote for us. The people want to take off from power. You see, we're facing the road. We're facing the road. You got to vote for us. That's not what we want to hear right now. You see?
Okay. Oh, Michael, sorry, let me call you back. I cannot cut you off. Yeah, go ahead. You done? Okay, he's calling back. Hey, Mackie, sorry, I mistakenly hit the number. All right, let me bring you in before I bring the labor, because June's soundbite here is indirectly focusing on the labor, which I know makes him very uncomfortable now. But like I said, mission accomplished this evening. So, Mike, let me hear you. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening to everybody. I'm at work, so I won't talk that long. I just want to say something. We've been having our president, which is George Weah, since he got into power. When last has George Weah ever appeared on any local radio station or talk show to explain his own idea, his own vision about this country like this? You know, people come on the radio and say whatever they want to say. That is their opinion. But let's face the reality. The politicians in Liberia, their followers most at times kill them from going places to discuss issues affecting the country. And at the end of the day, the voters don't know exactly what's in those politicians' heart. So if we want our politicians to start engaging the public, it shouldn't be one-sided. Your candidate in the race, tell your candidate go to closing argument. George Weah, get up and go to closing argument. George Weah, go to Liberia Public Radio. Engage the people. Talk to the people. But they don't do that. So they leave us now to speculate on issues. So I just want to tell our quarter, if you want other candidate to appear on show, tell your candidate to appear on show. If your candidate is president, tell him to address the country. These are strange times our country. We need to hear from him. We're going to an election. What's going on? We need to know. Somebody came out today and said they are taking over 27 million people out of poverty. And we know our population is 5 million. This kind of outrageous comment you get come on the radio, you say, like you're mocking the people. Not fair for our democracy. And then lastly, Joseph Boakai, I'm a Congo man. Joseph Boakai has shared his vision for the country in what he call arrest. Since I'm not interested in that arrest program, I go to my Congo man, I go in embassies in Liberia, discuss to people who know who Congo is. I'm not going to waste my time on discussing something that's related to Liberia, especially some other policy that I don't understand here. I'm not clearly defining. I'm going to take the time, engage people, tell the people about my own candidate, Congo, and they will decide. Like I always say, election is the most easier election in Liberia history because the voters got options, they got Congo, they got Comey, they get GMB. So left with them to decide. So I got to say, CJ, thank you so much on the show tonight. Appreciate it, brother. Continue the fight.
So why you requesting for that, Mikey? We already have it in place, so I'm just waiting to hear from you now, okay?
Mr. Mali, see the difference?
Yeah, we'll talk, how they call it, after your show.
Okay, thank you so much. So,
I keep saving the platform here today. First thing I took out my glasses, so we can be called the 4 blind Hebrew boys. Now I had to bring in the brain flare because Mr. Mali here with American flare causing trouble.
No, look at that. Look at him holding your own flare.
There's a moderator where you own flare.
I'm in a neutral land. These flags, you just have these are temporary flags.
Country, don't mind. I'm in all country.
There you go. Okay, so you're listening to the last callers. Time is gradually eating away here. Now, and because I think I'll listen to an argument, I believe where his name Jeremiah Cohn was to appear. And you will always see this happening. It will always happen. I don't care what you do. And politicians are very calculated, very strategic. There are certain politicians, even within the Democrat, the Republican, there are certain people can go on Fox News. There are certain people can go to CNN. They have learned that as well. There are certain people going to sit down with CBS. And you see, all of these groups, they have their own demographic. They have their own people. If you want to talk some real national issue, why you see CBS, NBC, they have Fox, they get their own fans. CNN, they're there. They have their own fans. So, but our job will continue to reach out to them. I think you're going to do them good. And I was talking to one of them. What is the point? If you're a CPP person or Unity Party or CDC person, you say you just want all your interviews going to be with Prince Sharif, or all your interviews going to be with SKTV or this here. But we know the establishments of some of these networks, we know who they are, what they represent. The language is the host, the talking point, the issues that are being shoved on the rug, and we're seeing how it's being played out here. So they feel comfortable. They want to drive on. They don't want anybody to stop them to bring them into check. Now, this is a challenge for the process itself because the country and a certain segment, a good chunk of the society has been miserably informed by these subliminal messages, these innuendos, these falsehood, these political tones meant to bring their people into spotlight. That has just been the service to the country. This is where we have to cut through this corridor here, because the people that listen to this thing, the process end up being perfected into action by things that they hear and so. But liberal, let me just bring you in here. Marley Jones went aggressively on your guy. I don't know why he does that, but when it comes to certain things, June, he doesn't hold back. And that is another provocation to see what is going on with you. Do you want to respond to him?
No.
So you agree with Mari? What all Mari said? Malik, can you please lift your camera or let him see? I want to make sure that he agrees with you. So next time when you come, okay.
Mr. So, first thing first, let me go back to this raw business here. On a very serious note, the issue of raw in Liberia, until that can seriously be addressed, we will always have issues. The reason why Nima County is flourishing right now, Bond County and those places are flourishing because of the raw. You have a major highway goes through each of these counties. So when you're driving from Monrovia, even if you don't have the money, but if you want to build anything in Ganta, you find one of those old truck, you put it on, it will take you before the end of the day. You can't do that with Grand Jita. If you have, in fact, if you drive on the highway from Monrovia going towards the countryside, as long you're between Ganta and Banga, if you were to see some of these taxis, the coal, the bags of coal those taxis carry on their car, they're even higher than two-story buildings. However, because of the road network, because of the road they have, they are able to come from one village to another to transport those coal to take them to the market. In the morning, before you get to the market, between Ganta and Banga, they have these people have these markets. People come in with flour salt, all these different fresh vegetable and stuff like that they are able to carry because of the road. You can't do that in other county. In most other county, you can't do that because you don't have the means to transport your stuff. You go to Ganta, right in Ganta itself, in the downtown Ganta, the place is always busting with produce from different places. And so the issue with road in Liberia, they're very important. Now, what I believe the people are doing that is mistaken as far as I'm concerned, they want to build a Cadillac road in Liberia. We don't need it. Not at this time. We don't have the money. So what do you build? You can build what they call chip and seal. Way cheaper than any other asphalt road. You put chip and seal on the road, it will still do the same work. Because basically, once you build your base and have it compacted effectively and put those chip and seal on there, you're done. A second thing is, because they spend so much money, they ask the European or other partners to give them money. They spend so much money building Cadillac Road, they do not have enough fund for maintenance. And the same thing that I said the other day about George Weah, President Weah, Invisible Park. The assistant corrector stated, and all joke aside, that it will be difficult for any government that comes to power to say they want to dismantle that area. I don't care whether it's in violation of FFA rule, whatever, because people have gotten used to it. But what they can't do is to ignore it. You don't have money for maintenance, that park will only be 2-3 years and it's done. The issue we have in Liberia, not just for road, but buildings and everything else, we love it when they're new. But once they start getting old, we don't maintain it. Look at somebody, Cutter brought in Doe Community Road the last time. Go look at Doe Community Road now. And you would think the road been there for almost 30, 40 years. Because our people are they are not capable of taking care of stuff. You don't have maintenance. You don't have budget for maintenance. Why put in these high price road when you can just do little stuff, chip and seal? And that chip and seal, you can maintain it. Because all you do is just put an oil-based stuff there and put the rocks on there. Rock is sufficient in Liberia, you can find it. The oil-based, you can buy that. You got to buy it anyway. But I don't mean to bore you with all of these nitty-gritty on these things. The main thing here is when, and all of the candidates themselves, including President Weah, they are quite aware of the importance. And so, Mr. So, I just want to
Who
say,
are the other candidates?
I said all of them, all of them.
But you call one name. Why not complete the list?
Mr. So, I'm not in a courtroom. I speak the way I want. In fact, I said Ambassador Baka and all the other candidates.
Okay. Thank you so much. You listen to the
I'm not
caller.
done yet. You give each one of these people 15 minutes. And not only that, first of all, let me remind you, Mr. So, if you don't know this.
You coming again?
Yeah, let me remind you if you don't know this.
I
just want to remind. I'm not trying to say anything.
You want to start with intimidation again?
No. I said let me remind you.
So what you want to remind me about?
Let me. Why you want to push me around? Let me remind you. The point here is that this is my show, by the way. If you don't remember that, I'm just reminding
guys.
you. I'm not trying to intimidate you or anything like that.
Mr. Jones,
there's a guy
Mr.
here
Boyer,
that watch, and I'm not too
have
sure
4 minutes
you're
to
going to
go.
be for LPR soon or not.
We have 4 minutes to go. The last almost 2 hours. 4 minutes to conclude this program, and he's saying that's his show. So who's been conducting here?
Because I let you,
Mr. Moderator, we got to move on.
Oh, is that right? Okay, yo, that's fine. You and Mother, you got to move on. Okay, next. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, guys, I think you're listening to all of the chorus here. What is lacking into this national discourse? Because people just want to make their own decision, or they are already made their decision for whatever reason. Are we getting all that we should get? Are we getting, as citizens, we deserve information from these leaders, these people who are contesting, for God's sake? And here they are, even though we can't put chain on them, we can't do anything, but certain segments of the society is being alienated. We are not getting the information we're supposed to get. Part of that is their surrogates, their supporters, some, not all. And there's huge distraction that going on with even in our own news cycle with other places here. How many days we get to go for this election?
I'll go first on this, Mr. So.
Why are you going first?
Because let me just make this point here quickly. I think your question is quite in place, but if anything, the politicians are playing the game we handed to them. They feel the way we prepare, they feel that's how they're playing the game. The Liberians themselves are not demanding of any kinds of substance from any of these people. They are not ready to question. The few that are educated are manipulators to the rest that are not up to speed on things. And as a result, the politicians, they just go out and play the tune of what they think the people want to listen to. If these people are being questioned, seriously questioned, they won't do these things. I'll give you an example. Look at this kinds of Taliban stuff that's going on with the motorcycle business. If the motorcycle guy, whoever it is, endorse someone else, and I will talk about the endorsement business tomorrow, because one guy wrote a beautiful piece about endorsement. I will discuss that. Will be in a 2-hour show tomorrow. But they endorse. If you endorse somebody, if I endorse you and say don't come to endorse you, what does it stand? What does it mean? Does Sissy have to say, oh, I'm going independent Samson so that I can be able to endorse someone else as well, or try to undercut whatever my endorsement is supposed to be? So when they see us, the politicians see people who supposed to be genuine, fighting among themselves, they take us not serious, and so they give us junk. So you can't blame the politician.
Give us junk.
On the other hand, the politicians like the Cummings and the Gonglos, those are very serious politicians, and they will continue to be truthful with the Liberian people. So the rest of the guys that are looking and playing the game, the Liberian voters are attending them, they are being deceitful. I say so.
You know, I always like to get to the bottom line. The rest of the guys, who are those ones?
Mr. So, a wise. What it says? Something to the wise is enough.
No, you are at liberty if you choose not to answer the question. But
I choose not to. All I say is,
is there any reason why you don't want to answer that?
All I can tell you is Honorable Cummings and Councillor Gonglo have been very truthful with the voters.
I don't know, Ceci, but let me just add this little layer and you guys can wrap up before we go. The Liberal here, there's some sort of double standard is kicking in here from the Liberal. He has now confessed Ellis Cummings, who in his own word is not connected, Gonglo, they are honest, they are this. But beyond that, all of this here, Ceci and Jones, where is the civil society? Where are these civil organizations? We see them here, they organize, especially like election time, and put something together and compel these candidates because eventually they can become very aggressive to the voters to provide that sort of education. Where is the civil society as well? These pro-democratic group, where are they? Why people are not even organizing? We're not hearing anything about maybe senatorial, the representative, or even some sort of debate. Why are we not getting this sort of momentum now to compel these people to give us something that we need to know?
Is that if that's me, I think the fundamental issue that is leading to all this is the lack of civic education in our schools. Because mind you, people who are civil society leaders graduated from high schools in Liberia where they didn't learn civics. And so in order to be able to hold these people to account or to tell you what they're going to do that is actually relevant to their position, it's difficult. Because you will have these same people that will come and say that man Beiro over there, you Beiro voting for that man. Well, but instead the work of the representative of Beiro, I may get 10 people on his scholarship. You ain't get nothing. Is this his responsibility to have? Is that his role? Instead of us looking at their voting records and looking at what bills and laws they proffer or they stood against on behalf of the people. We don't do that because at the end of the day, you wouldn't know what you know. If the people don't know that, they can't do that. And so for me, I think it's a greater question. And I think for some of us who see that, we have to be louder. We have to call for that. We have to make sure just as we organize around the dual citizenship, we have to organize around this, making sure that it becomes law, that civics gets back in the curriculum and become mandatory and taught in school from first grade to high school. And that's the reason when you talk to me, I always talk about a national exam instead of the West African examination, right? Because if we have a national exam, we can also have a civic exam in the national exam. That is a requirement for graduation. If people are going to come to Liberia and to be naturalized, we give them tests, and those people end up knowing more about what it means to be a citizen than those people who are born in the country. Come on, man. So for me, that's the bigger problem. I think that's beyond the elections and maybe after the elections, there's one thing we have to organize around and try to push that, to try to get a legislature to pass that. Because, for example, I listened to part of Samuel Twice talk, and he talked about the Invisible Park. And he said that the Invisible Park was built from the pocket of President George Weah. Why are we having a sitting president carrying on a private project? And if the president is building that project privately, why is he using public land? Did he buy the land for himself or for? So those are questions that people will ask if they understood civics. And those will be things that the likes of Samuel Tuwe will not get on radio to spew because they know people will check them in a minute. But again, like the liberals said, people are playing the game that we handed them. The politicians are playing the game we handed them. And for me, that's why I always push my guy Gonglo. He goes on even shows that people call CDC. There's this lady in I think she's in Australia, Susan. Tiawan Gonglo appeared on her show. She's a die-high George Weah supporter. We encourage him to go and answer questions. Because at the end of the day, we want to win an election based on honesty, not lying to the Liberian people about what we think we can do, and then we come there and we start blaming other people. Other people did it before. So I think for me, we have to start having people have substantive conversation. But I think what has managed to happen in Liberia is that we've managed to equate having a substantive conversation with education. And so when people have managed to deify ignorance, to kind of make education look devilish, every time you talk about having substantive conversation, they want really to say, oh, we're about to ask them what the education level is. And I think that is a myth that we in the media need to quell, because people can come and have a substantive argument about issues without us checking whether they got master's degree or PhD or whether the subject and verb agree. We are looking at the substance. When George Weah said plane will come, plane will go, plane will fly here, he was talking about the fact that planes have always been flying over the invisible part. Let's forget about whether we think he spoke proper English, but look at the substance of what he was discussing and let's have that conversation. But sadly, that is not what is happening.
That is not what has happened. Let me bring in Mali Jones Octavius as we're about to wrap up this evening here. Today is Monday, meaning the time is eating, the clock is eating, and the election doorbell literally ringing. 73 seats in the first branch of government and the executive are at stake. Mali Jones, what is the most takeaway here this evening in your final statement?
Yeah, my takeaway here this evening is about the electric. The voters in Liberia, I believe strongly that they are paralyzed. They are paralyzed by poverty. They are paralyzed by ignorance, to the extent that they do not have the critical thought to analyze and hold their elected officers accountable. And this has been happening from the time Liberia was established up to now. These are electorate that they only concerned about, they don't concerned about platform. Now you just mentioned the issue of the civil society. Yes, they are civil society in name, but they are not civil society when it comes to critical analysis and helping even the vulnerable to understand some of the intricacy and dynamics of the politics in Liberia. They themselves, they are victims of poverty and ignorance and lack of critical thoughts to even talk to their followers that are behind them. That's the first thing. Secondly, the election in Liberia is based largely on, it's like on popularity now. The more you're popular, the more the people vote for you. That's very dangerous. People are not concerned about platform. They're concerned about what you got to tell them. And that can be very dangerous. And this has been going on for so many years since 1847. No one is correcting it right now. Like what Mr. Goya just said, that one of the routes we can start improving these things. One of the major highway. Any of the politicians talking about that? No. Because the politicians have got is that they set trap. It will educate these people. They will ask for too many questions. So now lead them in poverty and in ignorance and just tell them, yes, more right, vote for us. This is what's happening in Liberia right now. And lastly, the Liberal just said that the Invincible Park is being erected. It cannot be dismantled. Yes, it can be dismantled for safety concern by the next government, or it can be improved, or something can happen. But I just want to take you back to Helen Johnson's first year in power. She viciously dismantled the most sophisticated defense ministry that were erected by the Israelis. All because those fingerprints were on that defense ministry. It's not only that. Most of those fingerprints that she met, she dismantled them. And those were political vindictiveness, I call it. Government is like we improve things. When I improve, you come, you improve. But that Invincible Part has got safety concern. And it has to be addressed by the next government. It's a fine thing, but it has a safety concern. And lastly, there's a breaking news that Harry Colley, the president of the Secularist movement in Liberia, had just put out a press release distancing his association from the endorsement of Joseph Boakai on ground that those that did it were just a faction. So that is now another double problem for the Unity Party. And to add to that, Goya just said, do we have spoilers? Yes, we have spoilers. Dr. Moduba is one of the outstanding spoilers in this whole operation because he's not going nowhere, but he's going to spoil it for Joseph Boakai. And he's going
How many minutes we're going to get a man to spot you with Mr. So?
Okay, I yield.
I look forward to the Independent Motorcyclist Association.
And the Motorcyclist Association, the Unity Party is concerned because they are, according to record, they are about over 250,000 of them. That's a solid vote.
But Mr. Mali, the group that endorsed was the Independent Motorcyclist Association. Different from the other one. You know, we have independent stuff. We had the COP, independent COP, NPFL, independent NPFL. So that the independent one here.
Okay.
Gentlemen, we want to thank you so much for your time, your expertise, and always here with great conversation, fair balance. Oh, look,
the neighbor will get me tomorrow involved.
100, can you imagine 112 days?
I'm sure you're not going to invite me
tomorrow.
So, Cesar, let me ask you this before we leave, please. You think the statement Samuel Toy made about 26 million, you think that was did he misspoke, or you think that's something that he really thought of?
I think I want to give him the benefit and say he misspoke. It was overzealous, but this is not the first time he's doing that. Samuel 12 just spit out numbers like whenever any number comes to your head, you just throw out. You saw the main presentation you did at one point in time, was talking about graph and thing. I'm sitting there as the math person looking at the graph and going, where did this guy get this thing from Pinterest?
I did too.
You know, but you know, it is what it is, I guess.
So yeah, why it is. Even the people who are seeking for this job, when you have some major stakeholders making this statement coming up, what do you expect? You expect a responsible response from these institutions that are also wanting the job and speak out. Time for them to speak out. They don't speak out. They don't. So it's like everyone in his or her own lane. You talk your own, I say I can, I talk my own. Nobody's there to fact check. And the civil society I'm talking about, we saw what happens here. The Tea Party, people that felt that were elected and the ideologies or the political, the core ballot button of this institution, they felt that these people were betrayed. What happened? We saw it overnight. Grass movement people came and they say, you know what? These people, that 2 years, you're not going back. It's not like that. Politics in the country is so polarized. Poverty and so many factors are responsible. Guys, I want to thank you so much for your expertise on the network, and hopefully we're going to be here more. But what is interesting, Big FM 103.7 is added to the column, and soon they're going to start relay it, and I will try to find suitable because I think we need to hit these messages right inside the heartbeat of Liberia. Chief Sosegoyo, Malik Jones, will we ever know your political identity before this election takes place?
What do you mean? We know who he is already. Why you asking?
I mean, a Gonglo fan. We just need to finish. We need to finish the discussion we're having behind the scene with him.
That's CDC.
You got a cash. You got a cash app, Mr. Malik. The one I sent.
You say he's CDC, the liberal.
Yeah, you see that CDC. That CDC. He yell at you.
Oh my goodness. Are you serious? Okay.
I see why Jesus.
Who doesn't want to sit down with the king? Who doesn't want to be on the king table anyways?
I see why Jesus was wrongly crucified. You know what? How is there in court?
You talk about my cash app or a different thing doing the whole Jesus being
he responding to the liberal. Whatever that's a liberal. Whatever comes out of here, second to Samuel 2, he put it there. He's here putting your foot in his own mouth too. Guys, thank you so much for the show.
Well, I said before we go, I know we're doing behind the scene, but what happened to our sisters? We can't see them this time. Dr. Taranka sent her Ministry of Labor when we Unity Party now. We can see our sister. And where Joy this few days? Joy, this is a 911.
Joy, actually, for Joy, I can speak, and even Koto, I think, is planning daughter wedding. Joy did send a message that she wasn't going to be on one or two things going. I mean, it is where it is, but we are keeping it. We're keeping it down.
I hope our sister as well. And Jonathan, don't like it. Don't be coming and going. Make sure you. This is a clarity. There's a 911 call for us.
I think he said there's issue within the ANC, so he's one of the person to. Have they ever? I'm hearing seriously since that their fundraiser, they have not been a report. I was told by a source familiar with what is happening.
That if who said they want to manage our money,
we let Amos Josh count on for your other question. Me, I
why is Amos Josh too? I see
he one of them. He one of them. He watching right now. He watching you. He one of them. He one of them. That people who want to manage our money. They better come and lead the ANC business and can't join Unity Party.
Don't count on the show.
Okay, guys, thank you.
If you click that button, you count on.
No, but you can't answer your jelly beyond stage. Remember, Sissy, thank you so much. Liberal Progressive, thank you. Tanas, Jones, Mali, thank you so much.
All right.
Okay, well, every good thing must come to an end. To our many viewers, listeners across the globe, in Liberia, other parts of the world, we want to thank you so much for sharing your evening to your morning and afternoon with us. And this is Liberia Public Radio. We want to thank you so much. At times, our conversation gets a little bit dicey because it just doesn't go through your political way. But we strongly feel this is how the conversation should be like. Too much is at stake for us to just play politics. Not much is being heard from these people. And sadly, all of us, folks in the media industry, the electorates, the politicians themselves, they are doing everything possible they can to solidify their political grip. So we have to push. And the question with the how, that's the hook, where they yet to answer. Instead, they just throw the monkey range. I will do this. How are you going to get it done? How would your government regularize civil servants' salary? How will the health sector be improved? How much do you intend to invest into education in order for us to have a quality education so teachers will be attractive? People are going to be living to the central to the heartbeat of Liberia, and teachers and professionals who are from different countries, they will also be going to their home to invest and mold the minds of the young people. How do you intend to do that? Those questions, those answers are yet to be provided. 112 days to a sovereign country, consequential election, yet people want replacement. But the question how yet to provide the layout as to how these decisions can be made, leaving electors and the Liberian people to vulnerable of making some careless decisions potentially in this coming election. When many have already decided, come to the conclusions based on what they know and the limited information provided them by the politicians, they have come to the conclusions without seeing the blueprints, like the arguments of one of the analysts. They have already declared who and how their vote going to be. Where is the civil society, the media industry, the country? Everyone seems to be compromised. For this reason, there will be a lot of hidden facts that citizenry should know and understand what it means to empower these people, the leaders, the lawmakers, and even the executive branch. They're going to be being empowered. They're going to be our antonymous for the next 6 years, 9 years. They're going to be making decisions. They're going to be signing into laws, concessions. They're going to puff up bills. Yet, unfortunately, we have not had no lengthy conversations. Are they going just to represent their political party? Are they for their party or the constituent that they represent? Who is going to be like the late John McCain? Now, you will disagree with your party as long as it is not in the interest of your constituent and the people that you represent. Who is willing to cut the deal? There's a mystery answer to this question. And I have no idea as to whether that question will ever be answered. Hopefully, they elect themselves. And to those of you who gives justifications of the actions of these politicians, is no different from what we're going to see happening again, because each and every one is doing everything possible, protecting their own alligators, giving justifications of these actions of the same very politician. Sooner or later, we come back to say, knowing what I know now. Well, you knew it on purpose. You were deliberate. You were very calculated. You were driven. You incite your personal feelings. Sentiment kicks in. Instead of putting the interest of the country first, you make careless decisions. And we are seeing tons of them, lottering and filtering all on the social media now, profess to be a change agent and preaching the real political gospel in their own time. That is being deceit, disingenuous, and it is wrong. We have to be very, very much watchful. If for Liberia to be a good Liberia, we all, including those of us as facilitators, anchor, presenters, we all must be held accountable. And this is why Liberia Public Radio intend not to leave no one behind in the political, social, economic, infrastructural conversations of the motherland, the Republic of Liberia. Thus, I remember that if you feel that you are touched of what we do and you find it very genuine, you can also make a donation. Nothing wrong with that. LPR is a full-fledged registered institution network of the state and the federal and that of the government of the Republic of Liberia. 682-433-8802. As we are doing everything possible to add up to make our voices heard in Liberia, it requires resources and funding. We just do not only talk about government, we look at our community as well to discuss community issue, because most of those people, their resume generate from the diaspora of their community services, and we must all hold them accountable. This Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, for those of you who are the Tigers on the BWR 30th Annual Convention will spotlight on the Liberia Public Radio. There's a massive preparation we are hearing in the Valley of Delaware, Newcastle. The National President of the BWR, Mr. Eric Harris, Chapter President, Madam Tala Miller, and Mr. Charles Babu, they will be here. They will be entering the spin room of the Liberia Public Radio in an exclusive. I will be playing hood. BWR is not a stranger to me. What we did to them, the Cardinal 1986, when we hosted a flare at the Executive Mansion, when the Cardinals of the William V.S. Statement will surface. May her soul rest in peace. The late Rosetta Harris, who was then the principal. BWR taught the seal up, but it was a big surprise when it came from the William V.S. Statement High School, one of the proud of the nation. So if you are from the Walls of Tigard, there's a big preparations on the way the coming weekend, following weekend in Delaware, Newcastle. The officials going to be here this Wednesday in a special interview. The association, the work of the association, their engagements in Liberia, and what you need to know. I will be right back.
Institute National Alumni Association of North America presenting to you 2023 National Convention in Newcastle, Delaware. Hey, the Tigers weekend long reunion will begin on Friday, June 30th, and from 8 a.m. straight up to 8 p.m. will be arrival of guests, registration, and hotel accommodation. Then 7 p.m. until 12 midnight will be the Tigers Night Out and Queen Contest. Admission will be $20 only. Saturday, July 1st will begin with a General Assembly beginning at 9:30 a.m. straight up to 3 p.m. And that will be followed by the banquet and ball. Those open at 7 p.m. Address is 24 Blaine Vines Drive in Newcastle, Delaware. Convention package for members is $150, and while the ordinary will pay only $50. And to our sweet and loving kind sponsors, we'll pay $100 only. And then comes Sunday, July 2nd, is the farewell cookout. This is when fellow Tiger gets to say goodbye to Tiger. And ladies and gentlemen, the cookout address is 156 Boyer Drive in Newark, Delaware. For more information, please contact Charles Babu 267-240-5487, Jacqueline Bush 678-410-7223, Tarlo Miller 619-793-7941, Gentleman Hassan Tor 609-280-9051. Please don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, this year's convention will be hosted by the Delaware Valley Chapter BWR. Come on, come on, and let's jam the weekend away.
There you have it. That's the Tigers. They're going to be meeting in Newcastle, Delaware, just right within the proximity of Philly, Baltimore, Washington, and all of those places. So, check out if you're a graduate or whatever. Once upon a time, that you can learn to support. You don't necessarily have to be at alumni. If you're a librarian and you believe in what you are doing, this is what we're supposed to be doing to support. And I think if we all begin to impact, to begin to do some sort of investment, then the voters, electors will listen to us. But if we can't even provide a little hand pump in our towns and villages, and you want to sit here, or we want to sit here and tell people, don't vote for that person, don't vote for that person. No, your presence has to be felt directly or indirectly in order to listen. Other than that, nothing going to happen. And this is why LPR is all out there. This also going to erase the notion that the politicians have been very successful to present our people, that people in the diaspora are not doing anything, no investment. That's not the case. Many of you have your towns, little local organizations, and you are making some impact, no matter how much and how it is. But those stories are not told. And this is where LPR steps in the gap to provide you the opportunity to tell your narrative, to tell us your story. So the leadership and the national president, the organizer of the Booker Washington Institute in a 30th annual convention. That's to suggest this organization has been here for quite a long time. And I guess they have done a lot. They have made some intervention. So let them tell their story. If you have a business, you have an event, conventions, graduations, baby shower, every event is considered very memorable to us. Let us know. If there's no way we can find our way, hire the expertise of those who can get it done for you. Don't just give us free money. We want to work for you. It doesn't matter how much, but people must be able to recognize and invest into their own, and that is LPR. Put aside politics. You don't need to identify me whether I'm a sedition, I'm a liberty partisan, I'm a unity partisan, or ANC before you can do that. All you're doing is just for the good of the country. But this sort of selective method idea that we have all and everybody have adopted just puts all in the crack kingdom war. If it is not for you, if it is not in your interest, or if it is not something that you like, you're not going to invest in there. Folks, thank you so much. If this is your first time, we wholeheartedly welcome you. If we did not speak the language of your political tone, Well, that's not what we are noted for. Sometimes we tell you things that you are uncomfortable simply because it doesn't pivot in your direction. But that is okay. We also value your views, your opinion. We go back to this live view to read every comment because it's a learning process and help us to enhance our capacity as we have these dialogues and conversation with you all. You can follow us live on Facebook, on YouTube, and LinkedIn. Be able to get that notification. You are in Liberia, get in touch with us. The number is 682-433-8802. Both that number is both Cash App and Zelle. If you feel touched and feel that there's a need to learn support, you can give in. We are also making preparations to bring you, as we have done in the past, coverage that require resources to get that done. Until then, folks, I'm Alfonso Zienso of the Liberia Public Radio and LPR-TV. Thank you so much for being here this evening, and by God's willing, we'll join the Liberia tomorrow, and then Wednesday, the BWR organizing committees of the 2023 National Convention are going to be here. Have a pleasant evening. Bye-bye. Mama, grandma, don't be mad, don't be mad, don't be mad, don't be mad, don't be yeah, don't be yeah, don't be mad, abade gogo, don't be mad, abade gogo, don't be mad, abade gogo, ekunanga ya lungu. Ewa, na ewa, Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I am Alfonso Zienso, and this is today's editions of LPR-TV Live with the panelists. The panelists are here in full to discuss, dissect, and critical issues affecting our Yakuna lomomiwa ena wega londe mima yalonde manga wade ibobo yalonde manga wade ibobo anaelo Have a pleasant night, and I will see you. Thank you so much for your time, and I hopefully to see you back here. Don't hesitate. If you have any message, the number there, you can also call our number 682-433-8802. You will take text, any suggestions, and anything you want to do. And for those of you who support these people from whatever county, some of those that are expiring representative senators, let us know. We can reach out to them to bring them here. They need to tell us something. They can't just go swear like that. Let us know so that we can reach out and they can tell exactly to what we represent. Thank you so much. Please follow us. Search in your search engines, Facebook, Liberia Public Radio. Follow us. Click on the notification to the bell. Type on all notifications so you can get an alert when we are on. Thank you so much and have a pleasant evening.